Now is the time to talk to your trusted realtor and see where you're at. Come September, if the rates drop, you're going to get in with those great rates.
The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Bill Knapik, and we have a great crew here today. Lots of people on the show. Different topics, but everything relates to the home in real estate. So let's get started as we welcome Miranda Box with Red Door Realty and Associates and Stephanie Hale with Traditions Mortgage Group. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Hey, Bill.
Hello.
Well, good to see you. First of all, let's talk a little bit about real estate, Miranda, and let's tell people about your company.
So I've been in real estate for about 12 years now. I've been working primarily in residential, but over the last year or two, I've started to transition a little bit into commercial. So kind of shifting with the different things that the market's doing lately.
And as we think about real estate and your company, Red Door, where do you geographically spend most of your time here lately, at least in the last couple of months?
Mostly in Montgomery County throughout my career.
And if someone's listening from afar and they hear Montgomery County, what part of Houston? Let's paint that picture for people outside of the...
You're looking at about 30, 45 minutes up to an hour and a half north of Houston.
So we're more in the northern zone then.
Correct.
And Montgomery County is really appealing. I hear a lot of people love Montgomery County. What are the drivers, would you say, from a realtor's perspective? What drives people to say, I want to live in Montgomery County?
Well, I guess I could give my opinion personally, having grown up in Harris County and decided as an adult to move to Montgomery County. And for me, it was really just the feel is different. It's a completely different atmosphere. It's more rural than some of the other counties that are further south of us, closer to Harris County. And so that was mostly what my clients are typically moving towards Montgomery County for. It's a little bit more of that rural feel.
Sounds good to me. In fact, it sounds also like there'd be a lot of more choices as you maybe want a regular house, you want something with a little bit of land and all.
Right, you can certainly get some elbow room out there.
And speaking of money, Stephanie, let's tell people about your company, Traditions Mortgage Group.
Okay, so Traditions Mortgage Group, we are a small mortgage company. So I opened the company in 2018. We operate in College Station, the Woodlands, and also Louisiana. And after about 17 years at a bank, me and a partner decided to go out on our own and open the mortgage company just to be able to create a more tailored experience for clients. So we specialize in those outside of the box lending. So outside of your normal VA, FHA, conventional stuff, we have a lot of products for investors, self-employed, or other individuals.
Well, and that's one of the things that strikes me when I talk to people about mortgages is that there are so many kinds of mortgage, as you're describing, and you use the phrase out-of-the-box mortgage loans. So let's tell people a little bit, dig into that a little bit more. And what is that all about, out-of-the-box? For some, is that for people where it's harder to get credit or what?
So there's a few things. So your very vanilla basic mortgage is set by each bank. So if I walk into ABC Bank, they're going to have their set parameters sometimes on what credit score they'll allow, what they're looking for in products. And so there are clients that may not fit into that box, as you will. So self-employed, we do loans based on bank statements or 1099s. We also offer loans outside to foreign nationals, individuals that have ITINs, things like that, where it is outside of the scope of your standard guidelines.
I'm glad, I was going to say it if you didn't, and that is self-employed people. I have not been self-employed. I've always worked for a company, so I've never had to experience that when getting a loan. But it is interesting. They have certain challenges, maybe more than the employed, so to speak.
Correct. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So when you're self-employed, you earn money, right? You have revenue, you have money coming in. But when it gets to the end of the year and you go to file your tax return, that magic number that you submit to the IRS becomes your income. Because you also control how much you pay yourself as a self-employed individual typically. We want to see 2 years in a standard mortgage. We want to see 2 years of your tax returns and the average income so that the lender can make a decision on what is likely to continue. In a case where somebody is recently self-employed, or maybe they, work 1099, or for whatever reason, their business just doesn't report as much to the IRS as a mortgage might require. There are some other products that we can do where we're looking at the straight revenue or profit and loss statements or bank statement. So we just look at the money coming in and out and determine our own cash flow, almost more similar to commercial lending, where we're looking at cash flow and balance sheets versus the traditional mortgage monthly turnover.
And I would also think someone in the self-employed world has more deductions. So that might offset certain income situations.
Yes. I will say the biggest thing I see with self-employed individuals that do have a solid amount of income is that either they self-prepare, which, they might have a wealth of knowledge in the tax world and it's fine. But a lot of times you can work closely with their CPA or financial advisor to adjust what deductions they're taking, because some of those actually are added back into income. So we could qualify them a little bit different. So I always encourage our loan officers and clients of mine to let's look at that before the end of the year and before you file if you are planning on buying a home in the next year or so.
That sounds good to me. And Miranda, you're here with Stephanie. So, and that's one of the things we talk about on this show is that a real estate professional like yourself, you have to have so many tools to help your buyers and sellers. And one of those is to have a good relationship with someone like Stephanie, right?
Right, which is why we wanted to do this together today, because she has such out of the box options that my clients, especially with as many self-employed clients that I have, are able to, they've been renting for years and years. And Stephanie came along and she's like, okay, well, let's sit down and talk about this. Let's look at some other options, some things that are not quite as conventional, where I can move a little bit differently than the bank is able to. And so we've been able to make the dream of home ownership something that's a reality for a lot of clients because of those options.
And that makes sense because, again, you have to have, as the real estate professional, if I'm buying a house or a family's buying a house, they look to you
for my people,
for the because you're in the
my
business,
people.
right? To have
Exactly.
the right partners with you.
Mm-hmm.
So that said, now as far as your world in real estate right now, and again, Montgomery County, for those outside of Houston, Northwest, give or take, of the downtown area, right now, are you helping more buyers or sellers? What do you focus on the most?
So, being that I'm not pigeonholed into one or the other by my brokerage, it shifts every couple of years. Sometimes it's more buyer focused, sometimes it's more seller focused. But this year, surprisingly, has been more seller focused than I had anticipated with the way that things are going. And that was something that, Stephanie and I have been talking about as well, that with the differences in the way that the market has changed over the last few years and the way that things look for sellers now versus the way that they looked for sellers 3 years ago, and the same for buyers, that we've been looking, into these less conventional options, like things like assumables. Everyone's been talking about them for a while since rates have been what they have been. But no one's really educated on it. No one's really familiar with what are your options? How do you find them? Who do you go to in order to do this? How do you qualify for that? What does that look like out of my pocket? And so I went ahead and got Assumable certified in order to have access to a database that allows me to see options, that you can see what the down payments are. What the down payment isn't normal, like a 3.5% FHA loan or a 5% conventional loan. You're looking at what is the difference between what their loan payoff amount is and what the equity or what the difference is in what the purchase price is. And so that's what it could be anywhere from $15,000 or $150,000. But then you assume their rate that they have, not today's market rate. So that's one of the things that we've been kind of trying to gear a little bit towards understanding more, putting more knowledge out there for the buyers that are in the market.
I'm going to go back to what you said. That's the first time. I think we're going to have a lot of show firsts here today. It's just a feeling, but you said the two words, Assumable certified. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I didn't even know if that was a thing. Is that something new?
A company just put something together. I just came by it. I saw another agent had said that she had gone through this program. And so I signed up and took the classes and learned how to understand what it really was. Because, you have so much misinformation out there that you've got to find someone that's taken the time to put all of the different things together and figure out what is legitimately an assumable. How is this approachable from a realtor standpoint or from a lender standpoint?
And we've been hearing a lot of times where people are not selling their home because for some, they got lucky and got a 3% interest rate or even lower. So I would think they would be prime configurations to assume that low loan. Is that
Right.
that's possible?
Right.
Then you can help them with that.
And because a lot of times, so that if they've got a 3% interest rate, they've probably have a decent amount of equity in their home. Because not only that was several years ago where there was a 3% interest rate, but on top of that, prices have risen since they paid for that 3% interest rate. And so they've probably got, $100,000, $200,000 in equity where they can pay those big differences on some assumables. But like I said, not all assumables are a crazy down payment. Some of them are $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 difference.
And Stephanie, tell us a little bit more about your thoughts on that.
So an assumable mortgage, so first, typically you're going to be able to assume government loans. So that's your FHA, USDA, and VA loans. So the first thing is really making sure that the agent that is representing the seller has done a little bit of that research to make sure that the bank that holds that mortgage is willing to do it and what their parameters are. So if Miranda's selling a house and it has an assumable loan and it's held with an investor, that investor is going to have to qualify the new buyer. So if I am the buyer, then I'm going to want to know what those requirements are going to be because it will stay with that same servicer. And then we'd have to qualify. So what we do try to work with our buyers if they are looking at an assumable product or home, if they walk into that one house and it's not the one, we still want to make sure that they're qualified for other options too. And then the second piece is when she was talking about how the equity that they have. So if you're purchasing a home and you're going to assume the loan, you're not going to likely be able to get a second lien, or you can't go over that amount with the existing lender. So typically you're either going to want the proceeds of your house or other savings to bridge that gap in what they owe and what the sales price is. So just having that information up front and being ready to go forward to the lender that holds that loan.
Information is the key, the correct information, that is. We're talking with Miranda Box with Red Door Realty and Associates and Stephanie Hale with Traditions Mortgage Group. Miranda, before we close the segment, what else do you want people to know?
So I also have a program which is very dear to my heart. Miranda's mission. I have a tagline. It's your dream, my mission. And so I kind of spun off of that. But I have a family that are military and first responders. And so over the years, seeing how things are, what they're contributing to our community and to our country, I dug into my own resources and decided that I wanted to start a program where I could give back to those that are doing for our communities and for our country. And so for my veteran, first responder, and teacher clients, I give a portion of my commission back at closing to help with their closing costs or furniture or whatever they need it for.
That sounds good. Let's tell people how they can reach you.
So my name is Miranda Box. You can reach me on my cell phone at 832-707-6708. 832-707-6708.
And Stephanie, how can people reach you?
I can be reached at 832-853-5003. 832-853-5003.
Well, ladies, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As we continue, let's talk to Heather Groom and Zariah Vela with Got Keys Realty. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's nice to be here.
Well, it's good to see you. I love that, it's easy to remember. Got Keys, right?
Right.
Let's tell people about your company, starting with Heather. Go ahead.
So we started Got Keys Realty team under Vive Realty in 2024. Mm-hmm. And over a year, we raised to like 22 agents. So Starting out this year, from January to now, we have over 20 million in sales. We have closed over 80 transactions.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Zariah, let's tell people some more about that.
Yeah, so we started our team last year in 2024, and by summer we already had about 19 agents. So this year has been amazing. I mean, it was a lot of training, a lot of learning for the agents, mentoring, and this year paid off. We're at 80 transactions.
That's pretty good. So also geographically, as people listen, let's tell people geographically where you're spending most of your time.
I am in the north side, Kingwood, Atascocita area. I spend a lot of time in the north because I'm also past president for NAREP North Houston, which is the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. And so we do a lot of our events on the north side. And I'm currently still on the board as past president, so a lot of Woodland, Spring.
Well, let's tell people, especially those listening from afar, about Kingwood, because it's actually been a while since we've had anyone from the Kingwood area on the show, any realtors. So, Zariah, let's tell people about the marketplace and what is it about Kingwood that draws people to say, hey, I live in another state or I live here in downtown Houston, but I want to go to Kingwood. What draws them up there?
Okay, well, I want to give that one to Heather because she lives there. I am more in a Atascocita side, and she's the pro in Kingwood.
Is that right? Well, go ahead, Heather.
I would say the schools, like Kingwood schools, carry pretty much the entire Humble School District. It's top 5. So schools are going to be 1 point. And then just the community feel, town center, it does have like a more homey.
Well, I've heard it called the livable forest. Do they
it
still
is.
call it that? And
yeah.
Why?
The walking trails, all of the sporting centers that are in the middle of the woods. It's on Lake Houston.
So as far as you, Heather, as far as real estate and your tenure, how long have you been a realtor?
11 and a half years.
So you've seen some things in 11 and a half years, huh?
Yep.
What is it about real estate that keeps you in the profession all these years?
I love it because numbers don't lie. Real estate is numbers, right? So you list houses, you pull comps, you do these things. Numbers are very, very easy, right? So when you break them down and make them make sense, it works. So, and we've done a lot to get these alternative financing programs. So we do a lot of owner finance. We do a lot of rent to own programs. We have a 10% bank statement loan program. We have, oh my gosh, like 40 different programs.
Give us a quick word on rent to own programs. I haven't heard about that in ever.
Yeah. So ours starts out at a 520 qualification. And then from there, it's an 8.5% interest rate, and it's about 11% down. But basically, they'll babysit it to where as soon as the buyers qualify for standard financing, then they'll flip them into, let's say, an FHA or a USDA or whatever type of loan they need to be flipped into.
So it's kind of something to get started.
Yes.
Like a little diving board.
But they're still getting, so the equity note is actually still going in the buyer's name. So they're still getting the benefits of owning a house. They're still getting their names on the tax profiles. They're still getting all the benefits of owning.
Sounds pretty good. And Zariah, what is it about real estate that brought you into the profession?
Well, I am originally from South Texas, from McAllen, Texas, the RGV. And when I came here, I started doing new home sales. I was a new home sales representative. That is a majority of what I teach our team as well. New homes, new construction is my specialty.
And right now in the area that you're working, are there a lot of choices in terms of new home construction? What's
Definitely, yes. There's a lot of choices in new homes, lots of incentives to home buyers at the moment, and you cannot beat their rates. They have amazing rates right now.
So the builders, and I'm hearing that the builders are doing certain things to attract business to sell their homes. Yes,
correct. So they have lots of options, lots of floor plans anywhere around town that will do a lot of things for the buyers with the rate, pricing, closing costs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would think if your background is in new home sales, now you could sell new homes and anything else.
Right. Once you sell a new home, you can't sell anything.
Well, when I think about, of course, realtors, you're working all weekend long anyways, in many cases, but especially the new home person, I think they have to sit at the same home all weekend.
Yeah, they live there. They live there, so basically, and weekends are a must. So, but that's the time when we're out there working too. So,
well, Heather, what are some of the other things we should know about the marketplace up there in Kingwood? I'm thinking about all those trees and all the great things you could do up there. What's happening?
Oh, I mean, we do events.
There's a lake up there too.
There's a lake. We sit on Lake Houston. We do events every other weekend. We do table events. They have Town Center has their fresh fruit markets. They have all kinds of stuff.
As far as the way you see, here we are, we're almost at the end of the year, Heather, right? So how do you see things unfold in terms of, I'm hearing interest rates are going to go down, really knows, but how do you see the things play out for the rest of the year?
Well, we just had a talk. If
you were to guess, right?
Yeah, we do Monday morning meetings. So on our Monday morning meeting this weekend, or today, I told them, get ready. You have about 2-3 weeks of the kind of downtime, we're still hanging out. But once that, everybody's waiting on the drops. Everybody's waiting to see what the interest rates are going to do. Everybody's waiting to see what's going to happen. So I project by the end of September, all our listings are going to start moving. Right now, we have over 23 listings on the market, and there's not been a lot of traction, but we've gotten a lot of social media, a lot of this, a lot of that. It seems like buyers are only going to open houses. They're not scheduling with their agents. So all of those people that have kind of been waiting for it, they're going to start coming. So,
and then how big of a drop does it need to be to have this extra activity? Would it be a half point, a point? What do you think?
Well, I mean, we've been dropping week over week. It's just been so little of a drop that people aren't really noticing it. So I think the one in the September is probably going to be a little bit bigger. I can't say how much. I have no idea. We know what they're pushing for, right? But
yeah, my guess is if it's a full point, that might really stir things. What do you think, Zariah?
Yeah, definitely. Well, full point would definitely push a lot of the listings, that we have that have been sitting for a while. I feel like June and July was a little slow, but it's picking up. I currently have a listing now, and I have multiple offers.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, and just listed on Friday, so it's going to pick up.
Well, my extra prediction is that other than the rate, at this time of the year when the weather gets cooler, I think that psychologically does something to the potential buyer, especially the buyer that doesn't have to buy at a certain time. They just like cooler weather.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just speaking for myself. I don't know what people really think. All that said, so as far as right now, Zariah, are you helping more buyers or sellers?
Well, I really help a lot of buyers. That's mainly what I do. And I think that's because I put that out there a lot, want to buy a house. But this year, I think I've had a lot of listings. I was working with a new home builder and sold about 10 of his homes, brand new homes, all the way from Hempstead to Houston to Baytown.
You're on a roll.
So, yeah. So I had a listings this year. So, but I work both buyers and sellers.
And then what about the first-time buyers? Are there a lot of them still out there?
Yes, a lot of them are asking questions, wanting to know when should I buy, wanting to know the process. I think putting that information out there helps because they have a lot of questions, and they'll be ready probably soon. And
Zariah, before we close this segment, what else do you want people to know about what you're doing?
I've been in real estate 8 years. I help buyers and sellers. There's lots of events going on the north side with NAREP, North Houston, and I also work the RGV area. So if anybody's looking to move to Houston or the RGV, Greater McAllen, I am also...
RGV is Rio Grande Valley?
The Rio Grande Valley, yeah. Yeah, I have access to their MLS, and I currently have a listing there, had 2 listings, so buyers or sellers can help them.
RGV.
Yeah, RGV.
I love that. Mm-hmm. So your phone number is?
832-966-1533. 832-966-1533.
Heather, how can people reach you?
Oh, my number is 832-797-9168. 832-797-9168.
Thanks for being with us, ladies.
Thank you.
Let's talk doors. This is a show first. We have the owner of Mirabella Doors. Her name is Pam Miller, and we've never, in all the history of this show, got to talk to someone about doors. Pam, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, let's tell people Mirabella Doors. It sounds like you have some very special doors to provide people.
Yes, I have a custom steel and iron door company. We design and fabricate front entry doors, wine room doors, study doors, back elevation doors for high-end home builders.
Doors.
I'm the door lady.
You are the door. So every day when you wake up, one thing's on your mind, doors.
Yes, doors are always on my mind. And
like your website says, exceeding expectations as well. Give us an idea in the day of the life of someone specialized, and these are beautiful doors. They're for special custom homes and things like that. Let's tell people about the doors that you're providing.
We do an array of door designs. Your typical double doors, single doors, double doors with side lights, transoms. We do pivot doors now as well. Pivot doors are very popular for modern style homes. If you're not familiar, it's when the door opens and it's not hinged on one side. It has a pivot point, maybe 6, 12, or 15 inches in, and it just sort of swivels open. So when you open the door, you see a little bit of distance on one side and then the greater span on the other side. Those are very popular right now.
Is that something that's a current trend, or have they been
Current
around
trend
for a while?
more for modern type homes. And again, we design everything for each and every customer. So right now there's a particular style that is popular. We call it our Cosmopolitan line, where it's a little bit of steel and a lot of glass. We started the business back in 2009. It's when hand-forged iron entry doors were very popular, that heavily
I love
ornate.
that, yeah.
And so from there, the pendulum swung the other way, and now we're doing these very little bit of steel, a lot of glass doors. They can be very modern in appearance, but they can also be very transitional.
And with a typical, I don't know what a typical client would be, but is it someone that like has an existing home and that they want to refresh the style? They'll call you, and then what about the person that's in the process of building a home? Is it you do all that?
I do all that. So typically, I work with high-end home builders in the greater Houston area. We go out as far as College Station, Waco, Huntsville, down to League City, Friendswood. So I developed relationships with them, and they sort of act as a quasi-salesperson for me, and they refer their client to me. But now that I've been in business so long, I have a reputation, and so a lot of people already know who I am. They've seen my product, maybe their friends have the doors and stuff, so I get a lot of word-of-mouth referrals. So, yes, I work with a home builder who would typically send me their customer, and then I would meet with them in the showroom and help them design whatever's they're looking for. But I also deal with the homeowner who's looking to update their home. And the best way to give your home a mini facelift is to change out the front entry.
Doors are one of the first impressions to the home.
Yes.
People, it adds to the curb appeal.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly landscaping as we pull up to a given home. But when we walk up to that home, it's the door.
Mm-hmm. It's the smile on your face. The door is the smile on your face, and it's your first impression when you walk through. And so it's very important, when you're building a new home, or even if you're remodeling an existing home, you take the style of the house is always first and foremost, but you want to be able to marry that with the style of the homeowner, the people who are going to live there, and just arrive at something that just meets both needs.
And I would think also in the process of looking at the styles and thinking and imagining the styles, people get excited about doors.
They do, and I still get excited about doors all these years later. It's strange. It's a strange obsession of mine, but I'll be talking to a customer, and then I'm like, oh, wait, I'm thinking of this idea, and it just is very exciting.
Well, out of curiosity, at your home, you have a door. We all have doors. Do you change your door out often, or you just have a certain door that you really like?
I actually did. I've changed my door twice now. So I had the hand-forged iron entryway at first, and then as the style changed, I cut the iron out, put a different style on, and then recently cut that out, and I just have a simple glass and steel door right now.
So, for example, just we talked a little bit about the design and the thinking of how we're going to get a specific door, but let's say it's one door, not a double door or the special pivot doors, but if we have just a single door and someone wants a new door for their home, that's not too complex. It's all custom, right? Mm-hmm. So how long does it take if we decide on a design? I say, hey, Pam, this is the one I think that would be best. How long does it take to get that door on my home?
From the time we pull the trigger in a remodel situation, it's 6 to 8 weeks is our lead time. Typically, with the remodel situation, you mentioned a single door. A lot of people will come to me and they have a single door with side lights, and they just think they have to change the door. But when I meet with them on site, I tell them we can just rip this whole thing out and put in a double door unit. We can raise your header, make it a little bit taller just to kick it up just a little bit.
And when you say side lights, I'm thinking of my own home. I don't know if this is what you're describing, but I have a door and then there's two like long windows. Is that the side light?
Yes.
Let's just rip it all out.
I can take it all out, all of it. In one day. We do it in one day also. So we demo, install, your house is perfectly safe and secure within one day.
I'm just thinking kind of a long shot here, but let's say someone has a listing that's been on the market for a long time. Maybe it's a door refresh that might put it over the edge.
I do work with some realtors that are doing that. They're either helping their client sell the house or they're flipping houses, and they'll have us come in and change out the front entry door. That's one of the first changes, especially when you're looking at 2025 versus 2000, 2005. There's a lot of design change has gone on in that 20-year period.
Because in the neighborhood I live in, there's a lot of homes that were built in 1993. And I think if we were to drive all over Houston, there's so many homes that have been around for a while. They need doors.
They do.
Just saying.
I see them all the time.
And they're listening right now. Maybe we're going to sell some doors here maybe today.
Okay, let's sell some doors.
Let's sell some doors. Okay, so as far as, let's tell people the website, Pam, because I was on your website. It's fantastic. What's
Thank
the
you.
website?
It's mirabelladors.com.
Simple.
Very simple.
MirabellaDoors.com. Get a door. Maybe get 2 doors. What about the back of the house?
Oh, we do a lot of back elevations. It's surprising how hot it is in Texas and how people love to be outside. We create great outdoor spaces for people that have pools and outdoor kitchens and all of that.
I keep thinking about my own house. I need doors. Don't tell anybody. In the meantime.
Well, you just told everybody.
So what about as the year, how has it been business-wise? I mean, we don't need numbers, of course, but here it is, 2025. I'm sure you look at your business, hey, this year we did this much, but was this a good year for your business?
Yes, it was. We had a little bit of slowness, I think, in the earlier of the year due to just the uncertainty with the interest rates and everything. But it's been pretty steady, all things considered. I was just actually looking at my numbers to see where I was in comparison to last year, and we're pretty much on target.
And when you think about the business and we're finishing out the year and you're thinking probably already about 2026, in the door business, I mean, as salespeople in real estate, mortgage, there's things that we can do to improve things and to bring in more business and all that. But in your world, what are the things that you think about to say, okay, we did this much, how can we make 2026 even better as the business owner? Because that's such an important position. This is your own business.
Yes, and you always have to think about how you're going to grow it, and especially when you're self-employed. And, you know, I have people that work for me, but it's pretty much just me that does the entire operation. How am I going to improve? And so for my goal for 2026 is to be able to ship doors nationwide. So you can call, work with us over the phone, email and all that, and we can get your door order going, and then we'll just ship it to wherever you are. You'll have to install it, but we can walk you through that.
Well, or you could have people in place in these various places.
A lot of people nationwide, when they have been contacting me, they're doing a renovation or new construction, and they have a contractor on board. So I would just work with them on how to install it.
We're talking with Pam Miller. The company is Mirabella Doors. And as far as you mentioned the trend, a little bit going away from the iron, that was very big.
That was yeah.
I want to see one of those pivotal doors. After the show, I'm going to get on the website because that sounds interesting. But how much notice do you get, or are you a creator of the trend being in this business? But how do you notice these trends as they go along? Like, can you foresee what's happening in 2026? What do people want?
I think so. It's just really comes down to demand. It's what homeowners are looking at homes all over the world and what we're doing. You know, there's Hollywood, Beverly Hills, Miami.
Oh, there's some doors there, yeah.
The Hamptons, and all those higher end areas. But you can kind of see what people like, and so it's interesting that you said that, because although that hand forged iron really has fallen out of favor in the past 7 years, I see it's coming back slowly, but it's crawling back in.
Well, it's interesting. I watched a very old movie with Cary Grant and Grace Kelly, To Catch a Thief, and they were in the French Riviera. And I was noticing the doors. Maybe that's because you were going to be coming on the show, but I'm noticing these doors, like you're saying, with the iron and these beautiful castle-like structures.
Yeah.
Pam, before we close this segment, what else do you want people to know?
We are a custom door company that can design and create any hand-forged iron or steel door that you may have in mind, and we would love an opportunity to work with you. It's a very simple process. Just give us a call. It just starts with a phone call.
And the phone number is?
713-252-6508. 713-252-6508.
Pam Miller, thanks for being with us. And the website again is?
mirabelladors.com.
Thank you.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. StewartInsurance.com. That's StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance, with a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers. Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance. John, welcome.
Thank you, Bill. Always a pleasure.
Opening doors, first impressions. It's always exciting to see what's going to happen here on the show.
It is. We need to have a segment on insuring doors.
Well, that's part of what's insured with the home, and we go from doors to insurance. It's a perfect segue.
Perfect segue. So we're going to continue our series today. So this is installment number 5 in our key insurance indicators, and today we're going to talk about watercraft.
Oh, I love that.
So, Bill, when you've got several boats, so this will be helpful for you when we're talking about insuring your fleet.
The fleet, yeah. The jet skis, too.
Jet skis, too, yes, exactly. So, again, there's going to be 5+1 key indicators that we're going to talk about today. So, number 1 is the type of coverage. So, we always begin with liability, and that's the most critical one, that you want to be able to make sure that you're protecting any potential bodily injury. So, if you were to hurt somebody or property damage, you were to damage their property, you want to make sure that you've got a liability coverage. Within that same discussion, you want to look at hull coverage, or sometimes you'll hear it called physical damage. So if you were to collide with another boat or to another object, that would help, with the cost of that damage. You want to have comprehensive, and it's, similar to what the comprehensive coverage is for your automobile. So anything non-collision, so theft, weather-related, fire, that's where the collision would come into play. Also similar to your auto, you would want to have underinsured or non-insured coverage. So if you were to be hit by another boat and the person that owned that boat didn't have insurance or it wasn't enough, then you would have some coverage there to offset that expense. And then medical payments are nice to have, that you can just offset the cost of any medical payments that you might have or one of your passengers might have. And the other two that are nice to have within the types of coverage are personal effects. So any damages to your personal belongings like fishing gear or electronics, clothing, generally excludes cash. So don't be carrying a bunch of cash on your boat, Bill.
I don't usually do that.
And then towing assistance. So, if you need help, you're out on Lake Conroe and you run out of gas, they can tow you in, or your battery dies, they can bring a battery to you. So, those are the kind of the areas you would want from a type of coverage. The second area we want to look at are claims. So there's 2 ways that you can set up your claims coverage. One is agreed value, and many times this can be for a higher valued boat, but the insured and the insurer, so the consumer and the insurance company, agree on a value of the boat. So if it were ever to be totaled, we know what we would pay out. So there's not any concerns. That you agree up front that if the boat's totaled, this is what you're going to get in return. If it's an older boat, or if you want the premiums to be a bit lower, then we'll look at actual cash value. And again, that's where before the insurance company pays out, they depreciate or take into consideration the age of the boat before they make any payments out. So there's a couple of options there. You can do agreed value or agreed upon price or an actual cash value.
Interesting that Stewart Insurance, the world of insurance, as you're helping people, there's all the categories of insurance, and it's so great you're doing this series, John, because you're hitting all the important things that we need to know about in insurance.
Well, and watercraft is critical, just because if you think about where we live between Galveston Bay, the Gulf of Mexico, Clear Lake, we've talked about Lake Houston today, Lake Conroe. So we've got a lot of areas where we can boat and participate in. So it's nice to be able to have some options on your coverage. The third area that we like to talk about are restrictions or exclusions. So there are going to be some situations within the policy that's going to say you cannot do this, or we're not going to cover this. So, for example, in some instances, there may be some exclusions on where you can drive your boat, where you can navigate it. So there may be some exclusions there. a layup period. So sometimes if we have we don't really have off seasons in the greater Houston area, but if you were up in Minnesota, you're going to have an off season where you're not going to be able to take your boat out because of the lakes are frozen. So you can get lower premiums during that layup period if your boat's stored. Now, the downside of that is if you have a layup period and you decide to use your boat and you have an issue, there's a chance that the claim would be denied because you'd agree that you would not be using it during that period. But that's another one we can take a look at, is that layup period. And then there are just some general exclusions that you would expect. They're not going to cover normal wear and tear. They're not going to cover anything that's maintenance related or a manufacturer's defect or a lack of maintenance. So if you didn't change your oil in your boat, Bill, and you ran it,
it's on me.
That's on you, yeah. The other things that we want to look at, a couple of the things, are the cost of the coverage. Some things that can come into play. An experienced yachtman like yourself, you're going to get a more a favorable premium or cost of the insurance than somebody.
I have a reputation on the seas.
You do, Captain. I call you the captain for a reason.
That's exactly.
You can look at some things on the deductible. You can look at ways of, as we've talked about before, about combining your home and auto with the same company. You can do that with your boat as well in many cases. So combine your boat and your home with the same company. That can save some money. The type of boat, the size of boat, the age of the boat, what its horsepower is, that can all affect the cost of coverage. And then requirements. There are some states, for example, Arkansas and Utah, that require you have some level of liability. Or if you were to have a loan on the boat, maybe that the company that's provided that loan, they may require that you have some coverage. Or if you store it at a marina, there are some marinas that require that you have coverage. But those would be the 5 areas that I think are key insurance indicator when it comes to the watercraft. And then the plus one is
There's the drum roll. Plus one.
The plus one is if you do want to have that watercraft coverage, we can help you with that at Stewart Insurance.
And that's right. As you describe here in the local listening area, as people hear the show, and on the weekends, a lot of times they're hearing the show at the time of broadcast.
They're on the boat.
They're on the boat. They're
Yes.
on their way back from the lake and all those things. But I was recently up in Lake, it was Okauchee Lake in Wisconsin, and I was on this beautiful home, plenty of water toys right there on the dock. And as I looked, I was with some friends there. I'm looking at the lake. And I'm saying, this is fantastic. I said, but you're talking about off season. Well, in these northern areas and others, they use the lake all year long. They ice fish. When it gets cold at that particular lake, they ice fish. They ice skate. And there's a declaration, who is ever in charge of the lake, that says now the lake is frozen enough where there's a safety check, a protocol.
And they would be one that where the layup period would make sense, because they're not going to use their jet skis in the winter months. They're not going to use their boat in the winter months. They're going to store them so they could save some money on their premium by having that layup period, because they're going from using jet skis in a boat to using snowmobiles to get out to do their ice fishing.
Exactly. In fact, as I make friends everywhere I go, John.
Everywhere you go, because you are Captain Bill.
Right. As I was up there, I made a lot of friends in Wisconsin, and now they're listening to the show, so they could be hearing these very words and going to be calling Stewart Insurance.
Well, I think all of your friends need to be giving me a call tomorrow.
Exactly.
And letting me know that they need some help with their watercraft insurance, and we'd be happy to do that.
Because people hear this show not just in Houston, but throughout, and Stewart Insurance is serving people in Wisconsin, Michigan, L.A., all over the place.
Absolutely. We work with both families, individuals, and their real estate businesses all over the U.S.
It sounds good. John, what else should we know?
Well, if you'd like to be properly insured, and all that simply means is that you have the right coverage for where you are in your life based upon your needs, and you understand what is and is not covered, then in our world, you're properly insured. And if you'd like to do that, whether it be for your watercraft or your home, your auto, your real estate brokerage, your property management firm, your independent title and attorney agent, we can help you with that. And you can reach us at 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827. You can learn more about us at stewartinsurance.com. And email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
And, John, if someone is in Wisconsin listening, what number should they call?
The Wisconsin hotline is 866-798-2827.
John, thanks for being with us, as always.
Our pleasure, Bill.
As we continue, business development people for Stewart Title are all over Houston and beyond. We have Hope Moy here, and we have a brand new business development officer that Hope's going to tell us about. Her name is Adeline McNeil. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Hey, it's great to be here.
Hey, Bill. Good to see you.
Well, Hope, you did great work because you brought, well, I saw all the Facebook and all the posts about Adeline on board, and you brought her here.
I mean, she is here today at the radio show. She was super excited to come meet you.
And here you are, Adeline, on the radio. Is it your first or second week with Stewart Title?
This is my first month, so I think today marks my 4th week starting, and it's been absolutely great so far.
It's a great company. We're glad to have you. Let's tell people about the offices that you're going to be serving for Stewart Title.
Yeah, so I serve 2 markets. I'm under the Woodlands and the Willis offices.
And Woodlands is so beautiful up there, and you're going to be helping all the people up there.
It is. It's been great to spend a lot of time up there, and Willis is a great community as well.
And what is your most exciting thing, other than being on the show today? What has been your most exciting thing here at Stewart Title so far?
Well, I was going to say the radio show, but I will say just meeting
people.
Right. Just meeting new people, getting to introduce myself and just shake hands with a bunch of different people. Realtors wear so many hats, and I think that they're so, educated, and it's really cool to learn more about what they do in their day-to-day life.
And you will be a great resource for them. Let's tell people how they can reach you, Adeline McNeil.
You can reach me at my cell phone, which is 832-544-1887, and that's 832-544-1887.
See, Hope you've trained her well already, I think. So, Hope.
The double phone number.
The double phone number. Sometimes we go triple, but in the meantime, let's tell people your 2 offices are.
So I am in the Magnolia Conroe offices, Magnolia off of 1488 and 2978. I have 2 escrow officers there in that office. And then in Conroe off of 336 and 105, and I have 3 escrow officers there as well.
And what's the longitude and latitude? No, just kidding. So let's tell people.
North.
just go northwest. You'll find Hope
North.
Right there with great escrow officers. Hope, how can people reach you?
They can call me at 346-224-1908. Again, the number is 346-224-1908.
Thank you. And once again, Adeline, welcome aboard. We'll
welcome,
hope
to
see you soon. Bring in some
I'll
guests.
See you soon.
All right. Thank you. And now we have Miranda Box back with Red Door Realty and Associates and Stephanie Hale talking money with Traditions Mortgage Group. Ladies, welcome back. First of all, Miranda, a final thought. What should people know about the real estate where you're helping them?
So my final thought would just be, don't be scared. If you're concerned about what's going on in the market, contact me specifically at 832-707-6708, and we can talk about what your options are and see what the numbers look like, and reach out to Stephanie and see, if this is something that you should be so scared about. Most of the time, people find out that it's not scary.
I don't think it shouldn't be scary. In fact, it should be exciting to make a purchase such as a home, because a home is so important.
Absolutely. But so many people have spent so much time thinking it's not an option for them, and it's just misinformation.
Well, that's why we're here today. Let the word go forth. Right, Stephanie?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, let's tell people.
Okay,
from your position, what else should we know?
Yeah, my final thought would be in that is to keep optimism about the market. So a lot of people and media shows that, the Fed rate dropping is going to have an instant effect on mortgage rates, when in fact, the mortgage rates have already balanced that in. So in the last 30 days, mortgage rates have come down 25 basis points, which is the expected cut that we're going to hope to see the Fed do in September. So just keeping that in mind, mortgages are done in advance. And so the rate that we're offering today is where we're anticipating the market will be at close.
And let me ask you this. As far as you get to see families and individuals and people that are in business for them, you see the finances, you see their DNA of the good, the bad, and whatever, right?
Yes.
If you've learned anything in the world of finances, and you've learned a lot, how would you advise, say, a teenager coming up in terms of a good money tip that you've learned of what to do or what not to do?
So I would say save money every paycheck. Start that habit very, very young. Budget yourself that way. And 2, establish credit early and be very responsible with credit. Debt is not always credit, but you need credit to go forward and purchase your home when you're older.
Stephanie Hale. Stephanie, let's tell people how to reach you.
Yes, I can be reached at 832-853-5003. 832-853-5003.
And Miranda, how can people reach you at Red Door Realty?
You can reach me on my cell phone at 832-707-6708. And again, that is 832-707-6708.
And your name is easy to remember, Miranda Box.
Yeah, pretty simple.
Very simple. Thanks for being with us, ladies.
Thank you.
Zariah Vela and Heather Groom are back as we continue. Ladies, welcome back.
Thank you.
Good to be back.
All right. So, Zariah, before we close things down, what else do you want people to know?
Right now is a great time to get with your trusted realtor. Start talking to them about if you're a first-time home buyer about the process and getting to know the process. It's a little bit scary, but it's all can be done. And September the rates are about to drop, so you can start getting
Buying
pre-qualified.
Mode.
Yeah,
I want to get into buying mode right now.
Yeah, you can. Right now is the time to talk to your trusted realtor and see where you're at. Come September, if the rates drop, you're going to get in with those great rates.
Sounds good. How can people reach you?
832-966-1533, 832-966-1533.
Just to trust the process. Trust your realtors. Trust
Call
the
Heather.
process. Call me. Yes, absolutely. Call anybody on our team. They can guide you through any of the mortgage options.
Sounds good. Heather, what's your phone number?
832-797-9168. 832-797-9168.
Thanks for being with us, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
Once again, we get to talk about doors as a final thought right here on the show. Pam Miller is back. First impressions, opening doors into opportunities. I could go on, but I won't. Pam, welcome back.
Thank you.
So what else should we know before you mentioned something about Instagram where people can learn more. What's going on?
Yes. If you follow us on Instagram, that's a great way of seeing what we do day to day. Sometimes we're featuring our installers installing doors, finishing doors. It's just a great way to learn a little bit more about Mirabella Doors and our process.
MirabellaDoors.com, right?
.com.
Easy to remember, MirabellaDoors.com. I like the website because you could see all the some of the examples of the doors.
Yes, thank you very much. We actually just redid our website last year, so I'm happy to hear that you like it.
I'm very excited about it. Are you on Facebook?
We capture more via Instagram than Facebook, but we do have a Facebook presence. Whatever goes on Instagram typically goes on Facebook.
And let's tell people how to reach you if they want to give you a call.
713-252-6508 or 713-252-6508.
So if you're listening out of Houston, you're going to send a door maybe even to Wisconsin, California. They can go anywhere.
Yeah, we can go anywhere in the United States.
Pam Miller, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I'm your host, Bill Knapik. And also, we talked about business development officers. You didn't get to hear from Jeremy Ragsdale, who's doing tremendous work in the Kingwood area. That's right, he brought great guests here on the show, as well as Becky Bohannon right there in Tomball. The President's Club, she's doing all kind of great things. She brought Pam Miller on the show, so it's awesome. So once again, Bill Knapik and John Bramlett, together with all of us at Stewart Title and Stewart Insurance. We'd be honored to be stewards of your real estate transaction. Just reach out to us at any Stewart Title location right here in Houston, Texas, or beyond, as we're an international company traded on the New York Stock Exchange as STC. And of course, StewartInsurance.com. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. When it comes to real estate, everything matters. Whether you're a broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, for informative and entertaining information when it comes to owning, buying, and selling real estate, tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance.